When it comes to gaming on YouTube a few years ago, Minecraft was, and even still is, one of the biggest games on the platform, with many careers and notable figures coming from it, including the likes of Dream, TommyInnit, DanTDM, etc. But what many people don't seem to realize is how many different types of content can come from the game, including what we're talking about today, trolling videos. Many channels got big at the time from trolling little kids in the game, which can span from something as minor as killing people to burning down their entire world and everything they've worked for. But over time, these channels have either gotten terminated, left, or faded into irrelevancy over time, and are generally forgotten now. So for this video, I want to go over 3 of the biggest creators that came from the Minecraft trolling scene, and where they eventually ended up. So with that out of the way, let's get into the video. If you're bound to recognize any of the YouTubers that I talk about in this video, it would definitely be XboxAddictionz. Starting to make videos in 2012, he quickly gained notoriety from the website for making Minecraft videos, trolling his younger brother Jaden.
Where are you going? Hey, guys, some of these lights too.
Give it! I'm not gonna play!
No, I need some lights. What do you expect me? Okay, stop. Jay. Alright, fine. I'll put him back.
After about a year or so of making content, he had around 60,000 subscribers on YouTube, and his growth wouldn't stop there, as he continued making these videos. Over time, he eventually became one of the biggest Minecraft trolling channels on YouTube, peaking at over 3 million subscribers before YouTube erased him from existence. And he definitely had an impact on a lot of people, and the platform as a whole. I myself remember watching him a lot when I was younger. I liked the reactions that he would get from people he would troll, which would usually just be 10-year-olds raging that their Minecraft house they spent 2 minutes on got fucking burnt down. I would always think that the kids that were trolled were way too sensitive, even though I would have reacted the same fucking way if it had happened to me, and I wouldn't have just simply shrugged it off. And I'm sure many people were in the same boat as me. The content was definitely entertaining for the time it came out, and that goes for a lot of trolling channels. Though, at some point, you have to wonder how the fuck XboxAddictionz could keep getting people to troll as his popularity rose. He had a recognizable voice, he never censored his gamer tags in his videos, and he always played with people like MasterofLuck, another Minecraft trolling YouTuber. I knew he had a forum at some point where you could submit the gamer tag of your friend to get them trolled, but I assume that most people who submitted this were probably just fans of him who wanted attention from his videos. So it does make me wonder how many of his videos are even real in the first place, especially with some of the fucking insane reactions and statements he would get from people.
I'm gonna stick this finger sign inside your
Ironically, in the clip that I used for this video, XboxAddictionz actually fucking basically confirmed in the beginning that the video was fake, so that kind of puts a little more fucking credibility to what I'm saying. But regardless of that, people still clearly enjoyed the content, except for YouTube themselves, who decided they didn't want him on their platform anymore. On December 5th, 2019, XboxAddictionz was completely terminated off of YouTube with no warning at all. And his entire channel that he spent 7 fucking years building up was completely gone. And all of this most likely had to do with YouTube's rapidly changing guidelines. Around the same time, the Leafy content cop was taken down, as well as Gokunaru's video on H3. And it shows that edgier content was harder to make on YouTube nowadays without you being punished for it. But unlike these guys, XboxAddictionz was relatively tame. He wasn't pushing the boundaries of comedy or jokes. All he was doing was trolling some kids on Minecraft and recording their reactions. You can see that as mean and immature, sure, but it's ultimately harmless. Why YouTube was targeting trolling channels at all still confuses me to this day. I think the most worrying thing about this termination, however, is the fact that YouTube didn't even use the fucking strike system. I'm not saying they can't do this, there are certain situations where this would be necessary, such as if someone has committed very serious crimes. But when you don't even give people warnings to what the fuck they even did wrong, they're not going to stop. That's what the strike system is there for. And it's sad that XboxAddictionz was kicked off this way. But luckily, he wasn't completely kicked off of YouTube. He had a second channel called Xbox Plays that never got targeted, and uploaded on there. But while he saw moderate success at first, his channel eventually died. Can't exactly say it's his fault though. Building back up an audience can be very difficult if you've just been straight up deplatformed, and only some people I've seen tend to fully succeed at this. Combine this with the fact that trolling videos within themselves have also died out, it's no shock that he isn't exactly pulling millions of views anymore. I can respect him for trying though. The fact that he's kept going and hasn't given up even after the hardships that YouTube has given him is something that I can seriously commend, and I'm not sure how many people would have been able to do that if they were in the same position he was in. But overall, the tale of XboxAddictionz was how the guy was at the top of his genre, only to be fucked over by the very platform that he was able to grow from in the first place. It's very sad to see, and it only shows the changing climate of YouTube and online spaces in general. Moving on. The Master of Luck story is very similar to XboxAddictionz, and considering that they both frequently collaborated with each other and made the same type of content, this shouldn't come up as a shock to anyone. Joining the site in December of 2012, his main type of content was also Minecraft trolling videos, with other types of videos also being thrown in there from time to time. But while he did start to gain a following of his own, he wouldn't really start to become well known until he made collaborations with other trolling channels, most notably with XboxAddictionz and Final Sora. Most people who knew about XboxAddictionz also knew about Master of Luck and vice versa. They were a trolling pair that their audiences loved to see, and to this day, people are still asking for both of them to make videos with each other again. Now, I never watched Master of Luck personally, but I do remember seeing him a lot back in the day on other trolling channels I'd watch. I didn't exactly become a fan of his, but I did enjoy the dynamic he had with other people. Well, it's much of a dynamic you can have when you're burning down Minecraft houses and making kids rage anyways.
Oh yeah, but guys, watch this. Now you see me? Now you don't.
Oh, whoa, are you a hacker? Oh
Hacker.
my gosh.
Yo, oh my god.
gosh,
I gotta leave.
Hacker.
I gotta leave.
Oh my gosh, he's a hacker. Oh my gosh, he's a hacker. I knew it. I knew it. I knew he was hacking. I knew it. Oh my
Leave the
gosh.
game, leave the game. He's gonna hack our
I'm
accounts.
leaving. I'm calling Microsoft. Oh my gosh.
Okay, maybe it wasn't as much of a dynamic thing as it was just me finding him funny while in these videos, but you get the point, they were entertaining. And as both XboxAddictionz and Master of Luck both kept making videos with each other, Master of Luck kept growing, eventually hitting over 1 million subscribers, and becoming one of the best known Minecraft trolling channels. But like XboxAddictionz, he was also hit with a ban hammer by YouTube. On February 3rd, 2020, Master of Luck was wiped off the face of the platform, and he was also striked without any warning, but if you've been following this video so far, you can probably take a guess at why he was banned. The ban itself reinforced the fact that YouTube did not like trolling videos on their website anymore. If it happened to just XboxAddictionz, maybe we could say that it was a one-time thing and everyone else would be fine, but this was happening to multiple channels at this point, all without any warning. Master of Luck and XboxAddictionz weren't even the only ones targeted by YouTube. Several other trolling YouTubers such as Introsive and ProPepper were also completely banned. And while this doesn't exactly surprise me, it does show how shitty YouTube can be for creators. The lack of communication between the website and the creators on their own website can be downright dangerous at times, as these people depend on the website for their income. Why not tell them to change up their content? Nobody knows that they're violating guidelines if you don't tell them. And if you actually look at YouTube's guidelines themselves, it is super vague as to what you can and can't do. There's barely any specifics. If they want quote-unquote edgier content off the website, maybe they should actually communicate that. But if you want my opinion on this, trolling content should not be taken down. I don't care if it's technically bullying children or something vague like that in the guidelines. I don't give a fuck. All it is when it comes to Minecraft trolling is destroying a world and getting reactions from kids. It might suck to see your stuff get destroyed, but it is a game at the end of the day, and it is certainly not a reason to take someone's livelihood away. Luckily, however, this was not the end of Master of Luck's YouTube career. He had another channel called TMOL that he kept uploading on, but unlike XboxAddictionz, he moved away from Minecraft trolling entirely. Instead, he would go on Omegle and mess with people there, which is apparently less bad than Minecraft trolling. I guess it's because with Minecraft, they were trolling kids, even though the content itself was pretty tame, but I'm not gonna question it. YouTube can be a very weird platform sometimes with what they pick and choose to be allowed on their website, and what they want taken off. But going back on track, if you look at Master of Luck's channel now, he's actually doing quite well for himself, with over 1 million subscribers on his current channel, and decent views on each video. And I can't be anything but happy for him that he was able to come back after YouTube fucked him over. Regardless of what you may think about him switching up his content to Omegle videos, the fact that he was able to build everything back up to where he was before and still do decently to this day is commendable. It shows that he's been able to work through all the hardships that YouTube has given him, and prosper from them. But overall, the story of Master Luck is of a guy that was fucked over by YouTube but was able to make a comeback despite the many setbacks he faced. It's pretty inspiring in all honesty. It shows me that you can make it through hardships like this on the website if you just work hard enough at it. Moving on. Out of everyone I've talked about today, I would definitely say the most depressing story is that of UnstoppableLuck. Starting to make videos in 2011, he did what most people on this list did, Minecraft trolling, and basically nothing else. I looked at his oldest videos, and the only one that wasn't Minecraft trolling when he started out was a Halo Reach video. So he was definitely a pioneer in this genre, if that means literally fucking anything. He wouldn't start to gain any significant following until 2014, when he hit 100,000 subscribers, and he would gradually gain more and more subs, eventually hitting 700,000 subs in the beginning of 2017. And unlike a lot of other channels, he did it all mostly by himself. He didn't collab with a lot of other trolling channels to make his videos, and the few times he did make videos with other trolling channels, it was just trolling them as well.
Yeah, please fucking put it in your straight. Yeah.
Fuck, seriously, why are you doing this?
I used to watch a lot of UnstoppableLuck's videos when I was younger, as well as XboxAddictionz. There was just something different about his videos to me at the time. He was much more lighthearted than other Minecraft trolling channels. He would go over the top sometimes and grief entire worlds, but for the most part, he didn't really do that. He was just kind of annoying with the shit he would do, and that was the worst of it really. And unlike people like XboxAddictionz, most of his reactions from the people he'd troll were completely normal, and what you'd probably expect. So honestly, that's funnier to me. It's more realistic. And as I've said earlier on in the video, I would laugh at these kids getting mad at their worlds being destroyed and shit, but I would have reacted the same exact way as them if it happened to me. These videos kind of reminded me of my younger self, and how I'd personally react if I was in the same situations. I'm not saying it was necessarily top tier content or anything, but it was definitely entertaining for the time, and even now I can find some sort of entertainment value out of it. Though that might be just because I have heavy nostalgia for trolling content in general, so take my opinion here with a grain of salt. Now, unlike XboxAddictionz and Master of Luck, this isn't some tragic story of YouTube fucking over a creator and them being deplatformed. UnstoppableLuck's channel is still up to this day, though uploads have completely stopped. His last trolling video was uploaded on December 9th, 2017, and then he completely disappeared from YouTube, only being active on Twitter. So what exactly happened? Why did this guy that was getting hundreds of thousands to even millions of views per video just suddenly quit? He did explain what had happened to stop him from uploading before on Twitter, but that can get buried easily. So on December 9th, 2022, about a month before this video was recorded, he made a video explaining everything. I'd recommend you to go and watch the video and listen to everything he talks about, but to summarize it, UnstoppableLuck was involved in a car accident in June of 2017, with the accident heavily affecting his neck, back, and his shoulders. And he's been in recovery from it for the past 5 years. I'm just gonna play a clip from the video so you can hear from the man himself how his experience was, but go watch the entire video if you have time. For now though, here is him talking about it.
If I did minute small house chores and tasks, it would set my back off, it would set my neck off. It would put this strain on me that I couldn't cope with. I couldn't make videos under those circumstances, because when you're in pain, it's really hard to focus.
Hearing about his experience after his car accident honestly made me pretty sad. Sure, he may have not had his channel taken away or some shit, but imagine being in his position. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even focus a lot of the time. That makes it impossible to make videos. And at that point, who cares that he still has his channel? He couldn't do anything with it, so what's the point? I'm glad that he came back to explain what happened, but if he never came back after this point, I probably wouldn't blame him, especially with how long it's been since he was active. He's probably moved on with his life and doesn't need YouTube for income or anything. It's just good to see that he's alright at the moment and that his recovery is going well. But overall, the UnstoppableLuck story is of a guy that was near the top of his genre, but was halted due to a severe accident. I hope he's doing better, and hopefully he fully recovers from everything that happened. Moving on. When it comes to the gaming scene on YouTube in the early 2010s, one of the biggest franchises on the platform was Call of Duty. Groups like FaZe and Optic, as well as YouTubers like CNators and Syndicate, were all able to pull in millions of views, and inspired a lot of other people to do exactly what they were doing. But with most gaming content on YouTube, there was a lot of subgenres that came out of it, with the one that I'm going to be talking about today being trolling videos. Although a lot of these YouTubers who did this type of content are either forgotten today or moved on to better things, their content and what happened to them in general will will always be interesting to me. I was never a huge COD enjoyer when it came to the YouTube side of things. Most of the content that came from the game just wasn't all that interesting to me. But when it came to the trolling videos, I was completely hooked. And this is one of the reasons why I also made my last video in the series, which you should watch, by the way, if you haven't. So with that said, for this video, I'm going to be covering 3 YouTubers who are known for COD trolling, where exactly they ended up, and my personal connection to some of the content. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. If there was any COD YouTuber that I would be thinking of when I was a kid, it would have most likely been MercMusic. His name isn't really brought up nowadays, other than videos going over situations he's been a part of, but his older videos give me a lot of nostalgia personally, and he was one of the only COD YouTubers that I used to watch. So for this reason, I want to go over the history of his channel, and a thing that would eventually cause a lot of his audience to completely turn on him, so let's get into it. On April 22nd, 2009, MercMusic, also known as Eric, would make his YouTube channel, with his first videos coming out a few months after this. His videos would start off as music content where he would just be playing different songs with an electric guitar. These videos aren't really too notable to me though, other than it just being a showcase of a hobby that Eric had. He would do these videos for about a year until he started to upload COD content, with the guitar stuff eventually being phased out within the next couple of years, and this is where he really started to gain some sort of traction. He would start to gradually gain subs every year, going from 4,000 subscribers in 2011 to 12k, 100k, 500k, and finally to over 1 million subscribers in the beginning of 2015. And in the middle of all of this happening, he released some of my favorite videos from him, most of which had to do with either COD or Minecraft trolling, which leads me to say this. What I failed to mention earlier in this section is that adding MercMusic to this video as a forgotten trolling channel is a huge technicality. Trolling content wasn't the only thing he did, or the main thing really, but I put him here because it's what I personally remember him for. And something that I failed to mention in my last video about trolling channels that I'll go into a detail a little bit here is that Eric was one of the reasons that I started to watch Minecraft content in the first place. I would not have watched XboxAddictionz, UnstoppableLuck, or any of the other big Minecraft trolling channels if it wasn't for him. So it was only a matter of time before I mentioned him in a video. Things always wrap around the Minecraft for me, don't they? I'll always appreciate his content. Going back to some of these videos and seeing comments about people reliving memories, only for those comments to be from 5 to 7 years ago now, just made me feel pretty old to be honest. Without him and other YouTubers, I might not be making content today. And that might seem like a weird statement since I'm a commentary channel, but I've been making videos since I was a little kid, and it wasn't always what I'm doing now. So that's that, right? MercMusic was just a cool COD YouTuber who made some videos I was nostalgic about, and that's where the section would have ended normally. But starting in 2018, his career would start to go downhill, and many controversies would start to follow him in that time. The first one that was notable and unjustified at the time, to be honest, was about his girlfriend. On January 30th, 2018, Eric uploaded a video called Meet My Girlfriend, Karina. In the video, he explains that he met a girl that he fell in love with after talking to her on Snapchat, and that he was ready to devote his life to her, and this caused a bit of backlash from his audience. The main crux of it was that he only knew her for a few months, so he shouldn't have been trying to rush a relationship. And that's a fair point, although I'd counter it by saying that you don't know their relationship and how fast it needs to go. But some people just straight up hated her at the time for some reason, and didn't want to see her in Eric's videos. Keep in mind that at this point, nothing had happened to warrant those comments, so it was just very strange to say the least. There were other things that went on during this, including a short feud between 8 Thoughts and Eric, but none of that was too interesting to me. If this was all that happened, I feel like this wouldn't be too notable. Just a YouTube audience getting mad about a girl getting introduced into his content. But the thing that would be pretty interesting to me is what happened in 2020. And in order to talk about that a little bit more, let me give some important info here real quick. One reason that people liked Eric's content so much was because of the dynamic that him and his friends had. They made his videos generally more entertaining, and this is important to know for what happened next. In September 2020, his friends would make tweets discussing how Eric had apparently cut contact with all of them and blocked/unfollowed them on everything. And to them at least, there didn't seem to be anything that happened for him to do this. Once this was made public, this seemed to be the final straw for some of his fan base, and I could completely understand that. Stuff happens behind the scenes, so I can't exactly speak on what exactly happened between Eric and his friends, and if what they said is completely true or not. Although it seems like for the past few years, he's been completely unwilling to respond to anything they said. Also, there was one specific story about one of Eric's friends being his best man in his wedding before being replaced, which was also confirmed by Eric's wife on Twitter, so make of that what you will. But Eric completely completely removing one of the main reasons why people came to his channel in the first place was definitely going to cause some harm. And it also didn't help that he's just unwilling to evolve his content. Looking at his channel now, most of his thumbnails and titles look like they come straight out of 2014, and they've been this way for years, with absolutely no effort to change them at all. Not only that, but he's also been doing the same videos for more than a decade. Most YouTubers can't really survive that well without changing up their content to fit with the current landscape, and Eric was no exception. Due to this, his channel is kind of a relic of an older time on YouTube now, and that's about it really. I'll appreciate some of the content he made at the time, due to getting me into some other gaming creators as well, but he's not someone I'd watch now, and I'm probably gonna forget about him as soon as I'm done writing this section. Moving on. Whenever I was trying to figure out which COD channels to put for this video, Azerrz was one of the last ones to cross my mind, and this was mainly because I just really didn't remember him much of the time. But I went to look at his content while researching, and I was shocked at just how much I used to watch from him. That's happened to me a couple of times when I go back to certain YouTubers, but it's odd to me every time. Like, how could I forget someone who made so much content that I loved back when I was younger? And that's what made me want to add him to this video. I'm sure he's not forgotten by a lot of the people watching this. He has 7 million subscribers after all, but that was my reasoning for putting him in here. Feel free to comment Azerrz isn't forgotten under the video all you want. Like the last section, I'm going to look at his history on the platform, my opinion of his content, along with what he is doing now at the time of writing this video. So with that, let's get into it. Azerrz created his channel on November 30th, 2012, with his first video releasing about a month and a half after this. Unlike Merc Music, his channel actually started off with COD trolling, with him doing voice impressions of Cleveland Brown for Family Guy. And this would be his main gimmick throughout his entire channel, even up to today. He would do voices of certain characters to get some laps in a Call of Duty lobby. Even if the videos were pretty simple in concept, they were pretty entertaining, at least to me anyways, and it certainly was to others as well. These videos, along with ones he would upload later on, would snowball him into popularity. In 2013, he had 8,000 subs, and he had doubled his sub count within the next year, all while continuing to do the same trolling videos as he was doing previously. In 2015, he had 100,000 subs, and that number would increase by 5 times in the next year. And some of this had to do with him adding more characters to his videos, like Ted for instance. He would then grow more and more until he's where he's at today, and I just want to say, his content was pretty cool for the time. It's nothing groundbreaking, you're not going to be blown away by the greatest content known to man if you watch it, or something like that, but it also didn't need to be. If we go back to trolling videos in the mid-2010s, most of them were just YouTubers making people mad for reactions. I do find a lot of this content entertaining. Hell, I wouldn't have made my previous video if I didn't, but I also don't mind some that go for a more positive direction with their content. If you go to Azerrz's channel and watch some of the videos on there, you'll see that most of what he does is literally just talking in funny voices and trying to make people in his COD lobbies laugh. It's about as positive as a trolling video can be, and there's something really appealing about that. I'll always appreciate the content he made, even if I forget it was him who made it sometimes, and it seems like certain TV studios took a liking to him as well. In late 2020, the voice actor for Cleveland Brown on Family Guy stepped away from the show for reasons that I won't get into here, so the show's producers were working for a new person to hire for the role. And the thing that surprised me the most is that the person they chose is none other than Azerrz himself. The fact that a YouTuber somehow got the role is just crazy to me. Now, I'm not trying to downplay his talent, of course. I've seen episodes of Family Guy with Cleveland in recent times, and the voice doesn't seem any different to me. But think about it this way. A guy that was sitting in his room and recording impressions for COD lobbies to then upload to YouTube had gotten to be part of one of the most popular cartoons to exist. That's a hell of an achievement. And you'd think that with this role, he might just put his sole focus into that and leave YouTube behind him, but no, he still uploads every few months, with the same style of videos that he was always known for, and I like that a lot. It shows that he never really lost touch with where he started. I don't know anything about how he is personally, but from his videos, Azerrz seems like a nice guy, so at least to me, the success is well deserved. I'm happy that he's been able to get this far, and I can only hope that bigger things are in store for him later on. But that's about all I have for this section. Moving on. Are You Super Serial, otherwise known as Sean, is a guy that to many people in my audience might just be completely unknown, mainly because his videos are for a completely different audience than the other people on this list, and I'll explain what I mean by that as the video goes on, but for now, let me give some very basic background here before I get into the real meat of this section. On December 7th, 2013, the Are You Super Serial channel was created. I can't find what date his first video was created, as Wayback Archive doesn't give me the best results for his channel before 2017, 2017. And the video that is his oldest currently is obviously not his oldest video judging by the description of it. But judging by his uploads that are still up from around this time, I could take a guess and say that he probably started off with COD videos. His content was very similar to Azerrz in that it was voice trolling. Basically, most of these videos were him doing Kermit the Frog impressions, with other characters added in there as well sometimes. And I remember watching these videos a lot when I was younger. One video I remember is when Sean was doing the Kermit voice, and someone else in his COD lobby was really mad about it for some reason. I just always found it funny that someone was getting mad at a guy for simply doing a Kermit the Frog impression. Of all things you can get mad about, why that? But that was an outlier. For the most part, the videos were just people having a good time and laughing at the impressions. I know for a fact that I laughed at all of this stuff, and it seems like others did as well. I can't find much on Wayback Archive to see how much they did back then, so I can't really show the growth of his channel throughout the years, but these videos nowadays have hundreds of thousands to even millions of views today. This was far from what got Sean popular though. While looking at his channel for research, I could only find 22 videos that were gaming related, out of 341 uploads in total. So here comes the question. What was the majority of his content? Well, it was IRL skits with a Kermit the Frog puppet, of course. Totally normal progression from a COD channel. This is why I said that Sean has a completely different audience to the people who are watching my videos. Because let's be honest, it was mostly kids who were watching these. Some of the videos might have had adult themes, but I don't see many adults wanting to watch YouTube videos of 2 Sesame Street puppets doing stuff. He didn't need an older audience though to get success, as this content would be what would boost the Are You Super Serial channel to new heights. To give some perspective here, the highest viewed video from his COD era, or the highest viewed video that is still up anyways from that time, had around 1 million views. And after this shift, his most viewed video has over 30 million. So clearly this was the thing that people liked more. The videos also featured other notable COD YouTubers at the time, like Best in Class and Die Trickster, both of which were also known for doing voice trolling back in the day. Other characters were added in these videos as well, such as Elmo and Cookie Monster, and it blew up pretty quickly. In fact, I don't know if I could go anywhere online in 2017 without seeing this stupid meme of Kermit in a car while he was singing some song. Not gonna play the audio here for copyright reasons, but trust me, this was a big thing for whatever reason. And while I did enjoy watching these videos at the time, it's become more and more clear that I did so because I was 12 to 13 while these were popular. I understand the appeal, don't get me wrong, but I just get nothing out of watching Kermit and Elmo skits as a 20-year-old. I'm surprised I've lived this long, goddamn. But you know what? I respect it. People have to evolve with time in order to fit with the YouTube landscape. That's what most YouTubers do to stay relevant, and that's exactly what Sean did as well. I don't like the content, but I get why he makes it. His channel doesn't seem to have much footing today, however. Looking at his current content, it just seems to be the same exact stuff he was making in 2017, although with some slight format changes. And his channel has dropped significantly in views. I'm not some expert in the algorithm, so I can't really come up with a good answer as to why this happened. Maybe his audience just found this to be stale and the kids who are watching him grew up. Who knows though. Overall, Are You Super Serial is a pretty interesting YouTuber to me, not necessarily because of his content itself, but because of the way that he shifted his channel. I'll always have nostalgia for his earlier stuff, and I respect the direction he went towards. Moving on.